Children of the Night, Chapter 22 Life and Death. Twilight had squeezed herself through the tunnel Pinkie had dug. It was much too small for her, but she used her magic to enlarge it, where it was too hard for her to pass through. Shortly before she reached its end, she heard a muffled scream, a metallic sound as if something fell to the ground, and something falling on wood. As she reached the end of the tunnel, she pushed aside the sacks that had been placed on its exit. With a flash of her horn, she enlightened the darkness around her. Twilight wanted to find her friend as fast as possible and drag her back with her if she had to. She had not to look long, however. There, at the end of a wooden staircase, lay Pinkie Pie in her own blood. Her left foreleg was bent in an odd angle, and the shaft of a spear emerged from the left flank. Twilight hurried over to her fallen friend, starting to panic.
"Oh, no, Pinkie! There's so much blood. Please, Pinkie, not you too. Pinkie, open your eyes, please!"
Twilight pleaded, but her friend did not open her eyes. Frightened what she might discover, Twilight licked one of her hooves and put it under Pinkie's nose to find out if her friend was still breathing. It was weak, but there was definitely air being pulled into her friend's lungs. Also, she noticed that her hoof came back bloody. Just as she had started to envelop Pinkie in her magic to get her back to the hideout to treat her, the door to the basement was shoved open and several changelings came charging into the room. Twilight spread her wings and positioned herself in front of her injured friend. The changelings were a little taken aback to see an alicorn here, but they attacked anyway.
"I don't have time for this!"
Twilight screamed and shot bolt after bolt from her horn. Each and every one of her spells hit true, sending her victims flying or drop them dead where they were. She tried to take care of all of them quickly, but they just kept coming. The bodies were already piling up, and her magic was growing weaker when they finally stopped charging in. Twilight's horn stopped glowing, and she looked back at her friend. She could still barely make out her breathing, but it wouldn't be long until she bled to death. She had to get Pinkie out of here. Twilight focused almost all of her remaining magical energy on Pinkie. With a purple flash of light, the pink pony disappeared from behind her. She only hoped she would be able to get out of here before any more of them came charging at her. Twilight wanted to make her way to the tunnel when she froze in shock. An enormous magical presence was quickly approaching her position. She knew the magic. It was Queen Chrysalis herself. She had no time to crawl back to the tunnel and close it up behind her. The spell she would have to use for that would be detectable for a short while, and so they could be found out. Without thinking, she shot another spell at the wall where the tunnel was, causing half of the basement to cave in. Hopefully the Changeling Queen would take it for a misfire on her part. Now she would have to face Chrysalis, her magic almost depleted, her body aching and feeling weak, and her thoughts still a little confused since she had pulled herself forcefully from her depression. Back at the hideout. Rarity woke from a blinding flash of light, and the earth beneath her shaking. As she looked up with her remaining eye, she could make out the source of the uncomfortable dampness that had started to seep through her sheets. A gravely injured and even less breathing Pinkie Pie lay right on top of her. Quickly she pulled herself out of her bed and started to gather first aid materials from a cabinet close to her bed. She had stored them there if Applejack needed any more assistance, but she had never anticipated something like this. Carefully, Rarity began to work on her almost dead friend. Without her magic, she had to do everything by hoof, all the while screaming for Twilight to come and help her. But her screams stayed unanswered. In the basement. Twilight looked up defiantly at Chrysalis that stood in the doorway that led to the basement.
"What a surprise! I have been looking for you all over, Twilight Sparkle. I had not thought I would find you in a bakery. Had any craving for muffins?"
"Oh, yeah. I felt a little hungry while hiding in the sewers, but too bad your changelings caught me. So let's get this over with already."
"The sewers?" Chrysalis laughed.
You must be thinking that I'm stupid. I have the sewers patrolled several times a day to ensure no pony hides there. If you are going to lie to me, you really should get better at it." She slowly began to descend the stairs. "And by the way, I can barely feel your magical presence. You must be really close to a burnout. So what should stop me from just throwing you back into my dungeons? Right now, I think you are more valuable alive than dead." Twilight braced herself, lowering her head to be able to charge Chrysalis if she had to. Just as she felt herself being enveloped in Chrysalis's magic once again, she heard a loud snapping noise, and the queen's grip on her was broken. Chrysalis looked around. She knew that kind of snap. Out of the shadows stepped a very small but still intimidating Discord.
Now, little Chrissy, I can't allow you to do that.
The changeling queen wanted to say something, but with another snap, her muzzle was sealed shut before she turned herself into a pony again.
Got you there. And now to you, Miss Sparkle. I'm glad to see you are okay, but what in the hay is going on? It's not like you to get into a fight with the likes of her.
Discord, am I glad to see you?
And I'm glad to see you, and I'm also glad that you finally see me as a friend, or I would be a statue again.
He gently placed his paw on Twilight's shoulder, helping her to her hoofs with his claw.
But where is Fluttershy? When I broke out of my prison a few moments ago, I found Rarity frantically treating an injured Pinkie Pie, and she sent me to look for you.
Twilight let her head hang and shook her head. Discord's jaw dropped as tears forced their way into his eyes. He had cried in the past, but it was always out of joy, never mourning. He turned towards Chrysalis, his eyes ablaze with black flames. His magic was still weak, since he had just broken out of his prison, but at that moment he wished for nothing more than to blow that damn insect all the way out of the solar system.
If I could, Chrysalis, I would end you right now. But I have to get Twilight out of here. Don't be too sure that I won't come back once I have done that. Wherever you go, whenever you turn your back on a dark corner, be sure that I could be in any of them. Be sure that I will come after you once I have the damn bracelet removed.
He had immobilized her shortly before she had changed her appearance. He could use his magic on her as long as she did not do that, and could not prevent her from using her magic on herself, but as long as she stayed transformed, she was safe from him, for now. With a snap of his fingers, Discord and Twilight disappeared in a quick flash of light, and Chrysalis could move once again. They rematerialized in the streets of Lost Pegasus, close to a barricade that was being attacked by several ponies. A little further back stood Celestia in utter surprise. The Draconus and Twilight walked up to Celestia, who was more than delighted to see the both of them. "Twilight, my faithful student, I am glad you are okay. How are Rarity, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie? I hope they are all right. Also, I am glad to see you made another friend, Discord."
"Remove that bracelet, now!"
the Draconus demanded, pointing his claw at the golden bracelet. "Why? I don't think it's quite the time yet to let you roam free."
"I want to put an end to all of this, Celestia. I want to get rid of Chrysalis. Fluttershy is dead, and it is her fault."
"Discord, I can understand your feelings. I feel the same, but please stop for now. I must talk to her alone."
"Fine, Twilight, if you say so. But don't keep me waiting for too long."
The Draconus turned back to the barricade, where several changelings tried to fend off the attacking ponies. With a snap of his fingers, he used his magic to get rid of them one by one. "So, Twilight, what did you want to talk to me about? I'm kind of busy right now, as you can surely see. Fluttershy is dead, and Pinkie Pie is gravely injured. I need something to help Pinkie. Do you know any spells that could help? If so, please come with me and help her." Twilight looked up into her mentor's eyes, but saw nothing but annoyance.
Twilight, I told you already I am otherwise occupied. I can't leave my forces right now, and I doubt you could learn the spell I have in mind fast enough. But Princess, one of my friends is dying. I heard you the first time, Twilight. I am sorry for Pinkie Pie, but if I leave here, thousands could die. You are a princess now, Twilight. You have to see the bigger picture. As for Fluttershy, I am sure we can find another bearer for the element of kindness. Twilight could not believe her own ears. Her mentor, the pony she idolized above every pony else, was refusing to help her. To make matters worse, she was talking about replacing Fluttershy, as if she was a broken tool that needed to be replaced. Taking a few steps back, she shook her head violently. "What's the matter, Twilight? Please, if you would assist me here, then I might be able to come with you. The sooner this battle is over, the sooner I have my hoofs free." "I can't believe you!" Twilight backed away from her even more, as if she was a terrible beast that wanted to devour her. Celestia did not understand. Why did Twilight react this way? Didn't she see that she could not leave this place until the battle was finished? "Discord, let's go." The Draconus turned back to Twilight, looking at his friend with a confused expression on his face, but the unspoken question in his eyes was only met with a shake of Twilight's head. He turned to Celestia and wanted to vent his anger on her, but Twilight pressed a hoof on his chest. Before Celestia was able to say another word, the two of them had disappeared in a quick flash of light. Celestia did not fully understand what had just happened, but she pushed the incident aside. Discord's boredom had gotten rid of a good deal of changelings. Right now she had to concentrate on the battle at Hoof. After that, she would be able to think about restoring the elements of harmony to their full strength. In the hideout, Discord and Twilight stepped out of the teleportation spell. Twilight walked over to the bed on which Pinkie Pie lay. In front of it lay a crying Rarity, her face buried in her hoofs. Not wanting to believe the indications, Twilight quickly ran over to check for herself. There was still some pulse and breathing left in Pinkie, but her life signs were getting weaker. Twilight could see that Rarity had closed the wounds up on their friends by sewing, but there was still blood seeping from her body. It was not much, but with as much as she had lost earlier, every drop mattered. "Discord, please!" she pleaded at the Draconus and pointed at Pinkie Pie. Slowly he walked over, placing his paw on her sewed-up flank. Closing his eyes, Discord checked the pink party pony. A tear formed in his eye as he shook his head. "But you are the spirit of chaos. You could even turn Fluttershy into a unicorn."
"Twilight, as sorry as I am, I can heal her body, but her soul has already departed. These are just the last traces of life force in her that keep her body breathing."
"Then heal her. I'm sure her soul will—" But Discord shook his head.
"Even if I heal her body, a departed soul can never be returned. I am sorry, Twilight, but that is way beyond my powers."
"Liar!"
Now, Twilight, I may be many things, but a liar is not one of them. Believe me."
As Twilight looked up from her friend to check why Discord had stopped talking, she saw that the Draconus had broken out in uncontrollable tears. They made him unable to speak as they rolled down his face. At that moment, Twilight remembered what he had said that day when they had first met.
"And my favorite? Laughter."
He was sad over Pinkie Pie's condition just as much as she was, and he hated himself for being unable to help her. How long did her soul—
"I'm not sure, but I would say it was only moments before we came back."
The two friends hugged each other, and Rarity was sobbing. When Chrysalis's drones dug out the tunnel she had discovered the next day, she found 3 rooms that looked a lot like furnished cells. Now she finally knew what had become to the cells the elements of harmony had been in. But the rooms were all empty. There was no pony there. In the back of one of the rooms, Chrysalis discovered a door made of a gemstone she had never seen before. It shone in all colors of the rainbow and had 2 symbols carved into it. One were 3 butterflies, while the other resembled 3 balloons. Whatever she did, she was unable to open or break the door down. Even the rock around its hinges resisted any attempt of breaking it. As her drones tried to dig around the door, they soon found themselves confronted with a ball made of the same gemstone as the door. Giving up on it, Chrysalis ordered the cells to be caved in and the tunnel to be sealed. Whatever discord had hidden away in there, she would not get at it, and she knew it. At least, she thought to herself, she could make sure that no pony else was able to get at it either.